Konnichiwa everyone, this is Whycare and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a reaction video about a dear Kawaii friend from Japan who loved Malaysia so much that speak about 5 culture shocks she met in Malaysia. So before I start the video, go ahead and search for Saki channel and subscribe her to give our dear Kawaii friend from Japan a support. Alright then, let's jump right into it. Let's get started. Okay, kawan-kawan kita, are you ready to know how Japanese think of us?
Today I'm going to be talking about 5 culture shocks
5 culture shocks?
experienced
Interesting.
here in Malaysia from my perspective. The first culture shock I experienced here in Malaysia is that Malaysian people often ask me the price.
Correct. It's pretty common for Malaysians to ask about the price, like even your food, your rent, the things you bought, or even your subscription. Yes, we Malaysians like to ask about the price, but there is a reason behind of it. So let's see what Saki-san think about this culture.
It's okay to ask the staff or clerks when you go to shopping malls or restaurants or cafes. But what I want to say is that some like Malaysian people ask me the price when I show them the things I bought. For example, one day I show my Malaysian colleague the things I bought in the office. Like, I bought this one last weekend. It's cute, isn't it? And she said, oh yeah, it's cute. How much was it? And I was like, what? Why? Why she asked me the price of the thing I bought? I wanted. Anyway, I told her the price, and her reaction was like, what? It's expensive. You can buy cheaper ones in this website. Honestly, I was a bit offended.
Nani? Chotto a minute. My Malaysian brother and sister, I got your back. So there's a deep reason why we Malaysian will tell you something like, walao, it's so expensive ah. Hey, actually you can buy cheaper from here, you know. And there's a reason also why we sound so angry or excited, like shifting our tone to a very high pitch, because of 2 possibilities. Okay, let me say the bad one first. Okay, there's 2 possible scenarios. The first one is the people is a retard. We call it the lan si people. Lan si in Malaysia means arrogant, which means when people calling you lan si, then it means you are very arrogant people. This type of person always feels so good for themselves. They think that you are stupid for wasting money to buy a product that he or she can buy it way more cheaper at other place. This type of person just think that they can outsmart anyone. So anyone doing anything is wrong to them. So only the things they done is the correct things. Yeah, they have the mindset like that. But this type of person is very rare to be found in Malaysia. So in this case, most of the Malaysian is the second type of the people that asking price for good intention, which I call it your true friend. So whenever he or she realize the things you bought is more expensive than he or she know, it's because they feel angry for you, they feel unworthy for you. Their thinking is like the seller is being a retard, trying to scam you by making the product way more expensive than the market price or from other sellers. And a good friend is always wish you to able to save more money, isn't it? Because we think that you can have a better option. We think that it's wasted. We feel unworthy for you. Okay, let's get back to the video.
By her reaction, because I bought this item because I love it. What's the point?
Yep, already has the
asking,
very clear
asking me
explanation
the
on
price?
that.
And why she gives me negative reaction? I expected she would say like, oh, it's cute. I also like this design. I like the color. It suits you very well. Like positive comment, but she didn't.
Okay, I think your colleague is the second type of the person, because we Malaysian think that it's a positive reaction for you to act like you are feeling unworthy for us. We feel touched when you feel angry for us, because we know that you are caring for us.
The other day, I had lunch with Malaysian colleagues, and they asked me where I live. So I said, oh, I live in blah blah blah. And they asked me my rent.
Okay, so for this rent sharing culture, it's pretty common in Malaysia because there are many benefits from discussing the rent. So by discussing the price of the rent, we could analyze place, the area. So for example, Bangsa area and the Cheras area, is very obvious that Bangsa area has higher standard, and definitely the living cost of Bangsa area would be much higher. So by all this information, we could know, is that place developed enough? Is it modern? So for people who want to live in the lower budget area, they could know, they could understand the living cost by just knowing the information of your rent. And for the people who want to live in luxury place, they could also understand the standard of the area by just knowing your rent price. So for all the businessmen who want to start their business, they can seek for the opportunity by analyzing the rent. So if your rent price keep increasing, which means the place is getting developed and it's getting popular and famous. That's why the rent is increased. So by knowing all this information, they could have their business plan and their living plan for the future. So to conclude, this culture is we Malaysians sharing the rent price is to help each other for calculations and planning.
So since then, I've learned in Malaysia, it's much common to ask our friends or colleagues the rent, things they bought, and so on. In my opinion, when your friends or colleagues show you their things they bought, we should just say, wow, it's nice, it's cute, I also like it. Which brand is it? Or where did you buy it? And if it's just the stuff they bought is expensive,
Yep, I know it's okay.
It's
Everyone has
totally
their
okay,
freedom to buy
because
anything,
your
but
friends and
sometimes our
colleagues
intention
love it.
is just to
so we should
suggest,
just
and
say
it's in a
positive
kind
comments,
way.
like, oh, it's nice, and so on.
Okay, for this, in my personal opinion, I think it's like how you define the comments. Because the comments that sounds negative to Saki-san might sound positive to me. For example, if someone told me that, hey, you buy this stuff is way more expensive, I think you can buy this stuff cheaper in this website. Or they recommend me to buy another product, but which has a similar function, but is way more cheaper and have good quality, I will think that this is a positive comment as well, because the person is sharing their knowledge to me and they are giving out all these suggestions, this precious information for free. That's why I will be appreciated it, and I think this will be the positive comment to me. That's why we have the culture shock here. Alright, let's get back to the video.
The second culture shock I experienced here in Malaysia is that some Malaysian people barb in public.
Just a minute. Okay, oh my Malaysian sister and brother, I cover your back this time also. Okay, I think the Malaysian youngster wouldn't do this unless they are not able to control that time. For youngster, we will try to hold it as much as possible, so we won't suddenly be like like that. We'll have an exception when you are really unable to control. Okay, let's continue.
I know it's a bit weird and awkward to talk about this, but it really surprised me. So let me share with you about the thing happened to me in my office. One day I worked in the office as usual. Suddenly, one of my colleagues sitting next to me burped. Like, sorry, I'm not so good at imitating the sound of a burp. Like, she was like, obviously she burped in the office. And I was like, what the heck happened to her? I stared at her in surprise, like, like this. But what surprised me even more is that nobody cares about it. Nobody stared at her. Nobody stared at her in surprise like me, like nobody cares about it. Everybody continues to work as if nothing happened. Like this.
Okay, I have a very good and clear explanation for this. If someone burp in the office or anywhere that require formality, first, we don't want to shame that person. Second, if he or she is my colleague, so next time we met, we don't want to be awkward. Third, brother, sister, I know you already have very huge pressure when doing your work and anything, so we don't want to give more pressure by staring at the person or using any weird expression to look at the person, because it will provide more pressure to her or him. 4 is we want to stay professionalism in our workplace, so we don't want these little things to affect our working progress or to affect the working environment. We know that you are human, you sometimes just couldn't control, so we truly understand that. That's why we act like we see nothing, we heard nothing, to make sure our bird body is comfortable.
It really surprised me. And the other day, my senior did the presentation during a meeting. While doing the presentation, she barked like, excuse me. And I was surprised. What? She barked during the meeting? But, nobody cares about it. Why nobody cares about it? Only I was surprised.
Okay, kawan dari Jepun, saya akan answer this question. Okay, so the first thing is not nobody cares about it, is things is already happened, so what can we do? We cannot do anything in the future to change that situation. So the thing we could do is not to interrupt the presenter who burped, so we just let it be. Because if we are like showing like we really care about the burp, we think it's like disgusting, it's not professional, then it only bring the bad effect. It affect the presentation, it interrupt the presenter, and it drag the whole process. Because things already happened, that's why we couldn't do anything about it. So we do our best to not to provide more negative effect on the presenters. Right, let's get back to Saki-san.
Someone burped in the office in Japan. Definitely, everyone would stare at the person who burped, or they just like chuckle like this. And I was thinking, why it happened in Malaysia and why it never happened in Japan. And finally, I came to a conclusion that it is because Japan has a strong culture of shame or embarrassment. We call it haji no bunka, avoid embarrassing things. If so, it is a like normal bodily function, including burp. Especially Japanese women pay attention to manners and care about what other people think.
In my opinion, it's so tough to live a life that fulfilling everyone's expectation. So in Malaysia, not to say that we don't care about manners, but we are precise on living our own style. We live the way we like. So we want to live happily, right? So if others say about you, hey, your living style is weird, it's awkward, I don't like it, we Malaysians, we don't care, because that's our living style. You have your living style, I respect your living style, and you should respect my living style as well. Because in Malaysia, we just want to relax lah, so we think that we have the freedom to live how we like and nobody can control about it, because we are the person in charge on controlling our own living style. Alright then, let's get to the third culture shock.
The third culture shock I experienced in Malaysia is that attitude towards customers are very different from Japan. I think in Malaysia, clerks or staffs and customer are equal.
Not to say equal, but the clerks and the customer, both of them, they have a mother, they have their own family, they have their own life. So in Malaysia, if you're a human, at least you respect the human rights. Yes, for customer, you provide me the money, you have the privilege to enjoy our service. But remember, not only you born from a womb, we also born from a womb. So you can be angry with valid reason, but you cannot insult 1%. You cannot insult. Insulting is definitely not allowed in Malaysia.
Meanwhile, in our universe.
So if the customer is being too retarded, the clerks, the seller, can fight back because they have their own right as well. They are also a human.
I feel. In Japan, employees in service industries try to make customers feel good, not making customers feel offended or angry. Because in Japan, customers are very, very important to them.
So like I said, customer in Malaysia is not God. Is a precious person, is an important person, but not important as a God. So if I pay you respect, you should pay me respect as well.
So when I was in Japan, I was treated very, very well. Clerks always smile. When they make mistakes, they apologize sincerely, like 申し訳ございませんでした. And they act so fast, and they treat us politely. But the bad point is that Japanese customer can be bossy. If shop clerks had a bad attitude towards customers, some Japanese customers would piss off, which could lead a complaint from customers. なんだその態度は、店長呼べ!
If this happened in Malaysia and the clerks doesn't do anything wrong, it would be like
So I was used to this culture and I thought customers are supposed to be treated very, very well. But when I moved to Malaysia, I went through many difficulties regarding customer service, which was very tough for me. So let me share with you about the customer service related experience in Malaysia.
okay, interesting.
One day, I contacted a beauty salon staff in Malaysia to cancel my appointment because at that time I was amid the pandemic and I thought it's better to postpone my reservation date. And her reply is this.
What?
Okay.
What the f?
When I got this text message, I couldn't believe my eyes. I checked the text message many times. K. That K?
Okay, this type of scenario usually happen for shops that are not going to be big. Because for the good seller attitude in Malaysia, even though they don't speak very formally to the customer, but the friendly way they speak is like you know, the Malaysian like to add the wave symbol, make the text sounds like Kela, okay, like a sound dragging effect for it to sound friendlier. But for the scenario that Saki-san encountered, that just quite kind of rude. But me, we just used to it.
Wait. Are we friends? Are you kidding me? Sending
Yeah, but I believe
customers
sometimes they don't have the
care
intention to be
is
rude.
Rude! I was freaking mad! I'm a customer. I pay money. I don't say you should treat me as a king or queen, but sending a customer's care is obviously not appropriate, right? Am I wrong?
Sending customer a care is definitely not appropriate. Yep, this is right. But maybe the seller doesn't have the intention to be rude because sometimes they just think that this is convenient to send a K. Alright, let's go to the next culture shock. Woo!
The first culture shock I experienced here in Malaysia is that Malaysian people like to tell jokes.
Yep, what Saki-san said on this is actually very true. Sometimes, like in Malaysia, your superior, in a serious meeting, he'll call you and then just to tell you a lame joke. And then the only reaction you could do is like very funny, yeah.
Very funny.
If not, tomorrow you might sleep under the bridge. But personally, for me, I like this kind of environment because like your boss is not too strict, so you won't be working in a stress environment. And not every time the joke is lame though. Sometimes it's very funny.
Basically, Japan doesn't have a joke culture. They are more serious in the office and they focus on their work. So when I realized that Malaysian colleagues and friends often tell jokes and laugh in the office, like I found it the culture difference between Japan and Malaysia. But honestly, it was a bit tough and it took time to accept this joke culture because sometimes their jokes go too far. So let me share with you about the culture shock I experienced in Malaysia regarding jokes. When I first joined in my company in Malaysia, everything was brand new to me and working style is totally different from Japan. So yeah, I was a bit stressed out because everything was new and I tried to catch up with other Malaysian colleagues and I made a lot of effort to observe this culture. And Malaysia has Manglish, Malaysian English, Manglish. So they have some of them have accent.
Yeah, in Malaysia we have Malay accent, Chinese accent, Indian accent, and the banana accent.
So it is a bit difficult for me to understand what they were talking. So at the first month, I was a bit stressed out and I tend to make a serious face because I focus on my job and I try to understand them. So I tend to make a serious face like this. And one day, there was a meeting in the office and while my colleagues were talking during the meeting, and as usual, I made a serious face like this to understand what he's talking like this. And suddenly, one of my colleagues say, "Hey, Saki, why are you making a so serious face? Are you okay? Don't resign, Saki." And other colleagues say, "Hey, don't say that. Maybe she's going to hand in resignation letter to HR because of you." And everyone laughed. But honestly, it was not funny at all for me. I got hurt. The jokes hit me so hard. Because I was not immune to joke culture at the time. I know my colleagues try to make me laugh and brighten up the atmosphere, but it was my first time to get such joke, so I got hurt.
For me, I never encountered this kind of joke before, like about resigning. Taking resigning as a joke, I think is a little bit over. Yeah, like Saki-san say, sometimes we Malaysian just gone too far on the joke. Yep, sometimes you think it's funny on your perspective, but from the other's perspective, it's not really that funny. But still the same thing. If the person is your superior, you can only to reply.
But now I'm fine because I knew that Malaysian people like to tell jokes. So yeah, I'm fine. Maybe. And the fifth culture shock I experienced in Malaysia is that Malaysian food is very, very spicy. Malaysian food is known to be spicy because Malaysian people love spicy food. I like spicy food, but the spiciness here in Malaysia is next level.
For me, the spices in Malaysia are still okay, average. But maybe because I'm the Malaysian. But I think Malaysia has pretty much non-spicy food as well. And all of them are so freaking delicious. And actually, if you couldn't eat spicy food in Malaysia, you will be laughed.
Why so weak? So weak.
Because if you couldn't eat spicy food, you are missing out like at least 40% of good food in Malaysia.
When chain restaurants promote new products in the advertisements, I often see the word spicy. Spicy ayam burger, spicy snacks, and so on. So it proves that Malaysian people love spicy products. Also, everywhere in Malaysia, I see chili sauce. So my Malaysian friends often put chili sauce on food. Like,
Yep, in Malaysia, especially when you are eating in McDonald's, if you don't take like the chili sauce like more than 2 sauce plate, then we think you are an alien.
and I'm concerned about their stomach. Maybe later your stomach will upset, right? I'm very worried about their stomach.
So it's like chili sauce or chili jam.
They've got the sweetness and it's going to kind of glaze.
Oh no no
and
no
help.
no 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 no!
Wouldn't be able to affect our stomach, but unless we eat the crazy spicy food like mala or the 18 plus chili, then tomorrow in the toilet we would be like, well, yeah, take care of your body also when you eat spicy. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. If you like this kind of video, feel free to leave a comment at the comment section below. And if you like more video like this, you could always suggest me through the comment section for a Japanese YouTuber that you would like me to react. If you want more video like this, hit the like, subscribe, and the notification button, because your support is always the best motivation that encourages me to do more videos. Go ahead and check out my other genres video from the left or from the right videos, or you can watch the previous series videos from the top section, and I will see you again next time. Sayonara!